Hi there folks, welcome to the video. This is Hardly Gaming, and today I'm going to be showing you a little build I've set up. This makes running through missions really fun, but also really quick, and anyone that's ever got to end game in this game knows that doing things quickly is actually really important because of how many maps you have to do. With this, if everything goes right, I can finish a mission in about 2 minutes. I like to actually explore my missions though, because you know every enemy that dies could drop something good, and they have done. This build is a lightning based build. It focuses on basically one spell which is pure single target damage, one spell which is pure anti AoE damage, and then two kind of buff spells. So we're just going to jump straight into the actual skills of what I'm using, and I'm going to run through what I've done with them here. So the five skills I'm going to be using is the Disintegrate Beam, the Teleport, what's it called? This one here, the Shield. Flame Ward, there we go. The Flame Ward, the Elemental Nova, and the Fire Shield as well. Now the Fire Shield is purely personal choice. You don't need it for this build, but I will show you why I'm using it. So first off, we're just going to go into the Disintegrate here. Now haven't got this back up to level 20. I've been playing about this build all day, and I'm really happy with it, so that's what I'm showing you guys. But I went down here and tried to this is my single target damage setup, so it's all about the damage. So I've gone down to get lightning because obviously this build is based on lightning. I then headed up here to get escalation, and then I've added in all this stuff around here, bar this and here. I don't need this. This basically means the longer I cast it, the more powerful it becomes, really very quickly, and it's very strong. And since I'm shooting bosses, it's just if I get a couple of seconds, the boss is dead. You know, I've killed bosses in seconds. I've killed bosses by accident. So yeah, that is where you want to go up that way. And then I've come down here as well, and my last point, because I'm at level 19, I've got one more point left to get. We'll be going into here to get the Twin Beam, which is double points, because the way I'm looking at it, the bosses are usually big enough to take up that amount of space, so they don't be getting hit twice as more strong beam. So yeah, this is really enjoyable actually, and to be honest, I use it now and again to clear out mobs of like the flyers and stuff like that like to stay just out of range. So that's that one, the Disintegrate. Second one I've got here is my Teleport. Now this is a really fun and useful skill to have. What I've done with this is I've come out all the way to the left, just using the minimum amount of points all the way around here. Now this is quite nice. Basically, you cannot be stunned if you cast Teleport recently, so that's nice. But it's also this one here. Teleport has a shorter cooldown. That's important. 50% extra cooldown here. And then I've come down to get if a barrier, and again just using the minimum amount of points to get up here. So Elemental Affinity, you deal extra elemental damage if you've just teleported. So I've got that. So when I teleport in, I'm doing 50% extra damage. And I've come all the way down to get these teleport ones here. Now what these do is when you teleport, you cast an Elemental Nova. As you're in the air, you cast another Elemental Nova, and then when you land, you cast another Elemental Nova. You can cast all this on one location, so one person is getting hit by 3 Novas at once. It's really nasty, and it's, as I said, it's a really fun build, and I've got the cooldown down really low, so it's very useful just to get around the map, to be honest. The third skill we're going to be going into is the Flame Ward, sorry. Now this one's a bit more higgy-piggy. So what I've done here is I've come down first, and I've got these ones down here. So again, minimum amount of points. Actually, I've got one extra one in there, but that doesn't matter. That's extra duration, which is always nice. And I've come down and got the haste, which is actually really useful because you're going to be having this active most of the time. There's a short amount of time between cooldowns where you won't have it, but most of the time you are going to have it. And you know, this is a quality of life build with haste on. You're going to be running really nice. I have also come out to here just to get a Fire Aura, which is just a nice little bit of damage. That was basically 1 point to get that. And I've come up here to get the lightning. Again, lightning based build. And then I've come up here to get a Desperate Defense, and then last one into Astonish. Now what this does is when you're stunned, it will cast automatically if it happens to be on, if it's ready to cast. This will save your life because you'll be getting about 400 or 500 wards when you cast this. That's more than enough to basically come out the stun and jump away teleport away. So that's the teleport. The next one we're going to be going to is the Nova, the Elemental Nova. Now, I've gone purely for area of effect with this. So I've gone full 8 points up to here, which gives you extra elemental damage and area of effect. And then I've gone up here to get this one as well, Elemental Expanse, which increases your area of effect by 150%. And then I'm working my way along here. In fact, that's all I've done. I've got my points. But I've put 4 points into Overcharge, which basically means that you have a chance of doing a massive one. And then just my last point into Ascended Current. I might play about with it a little bit more. I might take a few points off this and put them into these. Well, I'm still kind of working on it, but I'm happy with the way it is. This is kind of the basic setup you're going to be looking for here. Now, from what I've gathered, the Elemental Nova you get from when you cast your teleport is affected by this, so it's affected by the range. You can clear huge areas in the map, but just by teleporting around. It's really nice. It's a really nice kind of, they work really well together. And the last one, as I said, this is purely personal choice, but since I've got it, I really enjoyed it. And what I've done here is I put this on first, last in defense, makes it last longer. Basically, you never have it off. I've come down here. While Fire Shield is active, you have higher elemental resistance. That is one of the reasons why I'm using this. This, at end game, it puts my resistances up to max. All my elemental resistances are max and above. So enemies will not be able to get any negative on me, even if they've got shred on them. You're not going to get me down below 75%, which is the max, which is the cap. The way it works is basically you have 75%, which is a cap. You have the effective cap, and then anything above that can be reduced from shred. So if they have pierce lightning resist by 20, and you've got 95, you're still going to have 75% lightning resist if you get my drift. Now what I've done here is I've come down here to get Warden. Grants 5 additional ward per second. That's 3 ward, which is nice. And the last one, Plasma Shield. Grants 40% extra lightning damage. Now it does reduce its duration, but that's not an issue. And my last couple of points, I've just come down here. I didn't really have anything else to spend them on. There's nothing else that's true that I looked at and went, oh, that looks good. So I just put them down here. Basically, enemies around me have a chance of catching on fire, which is just a little bit extra damage and a little bit extra status. So that's the skills, guys. And the way I've set this up here, so I have the Disintegrate as my first one here. So this is a Disintegrate. And you can see it's actually barely uses any amounts of energy right now. My second one, Nova. See how big it is. And then you got the Flame Shield. Now that will stay active for a long time. And the last one is the ward, the Fire Ward. I also have the teleport, as you can see here, on my right mouse button. So I can just jump about. See that? That's pretty cool, that. And watch how look how quick that is. I've got it back. And I'll get it back in a second. Now that, with that having haste, you can see how this makes running around missions really, really quite nice. Now, the reason I've done all this, so you can see here, I've got nice gear, right? So I've got some good stats. I've got critical heavy, so I've got 24% critical hit chance and 205% critical hit multiplier. I will be trying to get that as high as possible, but at the moment it's fine. As you can see, I have actually overcapping some of my resists here, but see if I cast that, all of these are now overcapped. And these I'm working on, but they're getting now. Ultimately, you want them all to be 75% for when you're getting into the higher end content, but that's my goal for now, is just getting these up to max. You can see I've got massive amounts of extra lightning damage here, and a really nice amount of extra spell damage. I'm trying to work that up. I did used to have about 200 and something percent, but you know, you have to go with what you got. Now, 544, watch this. So I cast that, and that, 834. And I think if I also get, no, yeah, if I get Aegis, that goes up even higher than that. So that is that. Let's have a look at my gear. Now, I have been quite lucky with my gear. But the thing with this build, what I like about it is there's nothing that you need to have it. There's no unique item that you need. All this stuff has just happened to be the best stuff that I've found. And it's all, as you can see, purple level gear, pretty much apart from a couple of rings and stuff that I've made. It's all fractured. It's all broken. it works. This was a game changer when I got this. I found this, and I was just like, what? I love it. I was using 2 single-handed items up until I got this, and then I haven't put this down since I got it. So a lot of my stuff now I've rolled onto resists. I will be tweaking. I'm waiting to get some more crafting stuff to make sure that I can actually add more intelligence onto this without breaking it. I want to get intelligence in this up to about 10, which would be nice. I've got massive damage up on here on my amulet, which gives me a bit of mana and mana efficiency, which is always handy. My rings, I've put resistances on my rings, and this one as well, cold resistance and damage as well. I've got resistance on my belt, resistance on my boots, as well as movement speed, which is a quality of life improvement. You could go, I mean, it's a personal choice. I always say go for movement speed. It makes life so much easier. Void resistance, that's going to play a big part. When you get to high-end games, void resistance is very important. Void damage really hurts, and the enemies that use it, they have like heat-seeking missiles that come at you. It's nasty. And I've just actually got this. I was quite happy with this. It seems to be difficult to find a good item for this slot. So this gives me lightning damage, critical hit strike chance, extra mana, which is really important for this build, and necrotic resistance, which is one of the resistances I was really struggling with. So I've now got that up to 45. I used to have it at none. All these were good, and then that was just none. So I was quite happy with that. So that's my gear. As I said, there's nothing that you need to have. All the stuff that just happens to be the best in slot that I've found. Now, when it comes to your idols, the reason I've said that your mana is important, I've got 321. And the reason that it's important is because I've got these ones here. So you can see there, it gives me chance to cast fire aura, which is nice. And then also 33% extra lightning damage, doubled if you have over 300 max mana. So that means that that's now actually giving me 66% extra increased damage. I believe that's the only one at the moment I have of that right now. But you can see how that's a huge buff. I mean, basically just making sure I've got some mana and I've got 300, I've got 33% extra damage. So it's really nice. When it comes to these, so I've got here, it's like 81% lightning damage whilst you have lightning aegis. I should be casting lightning aegis quite a lot, but I don't know. I'm just actually thinking about this now. I've been tweaking my build so much that that might be nullified now, because I don't believe that gives me lightning aegis. I used to get lightning aegis from lightning blast. I'll need to look at that, guys. That could be a choice, but I'm not going for. I mean, the idols, as I said, is just best in slot, whichever you have to fit your build. So that's that, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into a little mission, and I'll see you there. Okay, welcome back. The reason I cut there is in case I die, then I can actually just cut in a one I survive. All these guys you see online with like these brilliant runs, you don't think might have died 1,000 times to get there. Right, so I'm just going to go and do my stuff. I can't remember what level I'm actually. I think I've unlocked level 90, but I actually came back a little bit to farm a little bit. So this might be about 80 odd. What's that shine up there? So this is all void damage you see here, and these guys are they used to be really quite nasty. They still are. If they get through your shield, they can kill you really quite quickly, faster than you can react. See my bit of speed though, guys, makes life so much easier. I didn't know what purples were when I first started finding them the other day. If you see my video, I didn't really know what they were for. Now I do. They have a max rolled stat, which you can then build around. So that's why I was so happy when, and you can actually have more than one. I've had one pair of gloves that actually had 2. So I suppose the unicorns are trying to get them with like all 4 max stats. Imagine that, eh? It just shows that there's actually real potential end game, like if you keep farming for those perfect items. As long as it's not silly. But then again, I've been quite lucky today with my gear. Most of my gear that you see there I've farmed out just in the last day and a half. But yeah, I think I need to look at my idols because I'm not getting Aegis. And that used to, I mean, this is me 80% less damage than I used to have. I need to be careful because this guy actually hurts. Oh, look at that. That's the boss. Let's grab all this loot. Always have a little look around where the bosses are. There's usually a crate nearby, but I don't think there is this time. Yeah, there's usually a crate nearby a room, but I don't think he's got one, so I'm just gonna jump out. So as you saw there, guys, that was really, really quick. Not really much difficulty. As long as you remember to keep your shields active, you can churn through the enemies. So yeah, I need to go and have a wee look at this. Anyway, guys, that is the build. That is the gear. I'm going to have to go and look at these things here. But yeah, just keep playing, guys, and twist it, change it as you want. But I would say, oh, sorry, I've just realised I haven't gone through my passive trees. Hang on, let's just go into passive. So, 30 points into Mage, you want 6 down in Elementalist, you want 8 in Arcanist, and then you want 1 in Reactive and 5 in Warden, because that's a really easy way to get ward retention, which is vital. And then all 10 points into Knowledge of Destruction, because you're going to be maxing out your critical hit chance and damage as much as possible. And then into Sorcerer, I've got 60 so far. So you're going to have 8 in Calculated Destruction, again critical hit chance. You're going to have 8 in Brainstorm, that's basic spell damage, that's really nice. You want 10 in Wisdom, which gives you Intelligence and Mana, which is really, really good. You want Cunomancer, I don't think anyone can pronounce that. That's base damage, and then go up to here to get the Rift Bolt, that's penetration, that's really nice. And also lightning damage leech. I've seen my health bar just pop back up from nothing with 1 second in one cast because of this. And then I've gone up to Crackling Precision, more damage. Now the thing with this, if you read it, you have an increased chance to critically strike with spells. This effect is doubled for lightning skills, so that's given me 160% critical hit chance with my lightning spells there. I don't believe that is counted here, so I've got 24% now, but with that I've probably got about 30%. Which is, really good. And then 5 points into Arcane Obliteration, spell critical multiplier 50 by another 50, so that's got me up to 230. And then I put 4 points into Recollection. That's extra cooldown, that's really, really handy. And then at the moment, I'm just finishing up Archmage. That's where my next point goes. Adaptive spell damage. This is tripled if you have 200 mana, so that's actually counted as 12 adaptive spell damage. Now, for those of you that don't know, adaptive spell damage, it's a base damage, so it's added to the very bottom, so it's really handy because it's multiplicative, and it basically gives that damage to all abilities. So if I've got fire, if I've got a fire proc for my shield, that gets extra damage. If I've got lightning, that gets extra damage. It's an all over base damage buff, and it's really handy. Once I've finished this, I will come down and get Spellslinger. It gives me a little bit more adaptive spell damage, but also increased cast speed, which is always handy. And then I'll probably, that'll be, after that I'll just be putting points into random stuff that looks good. So that's it, guys. That is it. It's a really quite simple build. Yes, I am quite high level, and I'm assuming you guys are maybe not at the same level, or you're just working your way into the beginning of end game. But I got to the beginning of end game at about level 55, 60 odd, so you shouldn't be too far behind. And these builds are really easy to work with. It's not difficult to get up to the top up here and get these ones up here and just kind of dot your stuff in. Just kind of work with what's best at that point, what you're struggling with the most. So if you are struggling with keeping your shield active, go for this. If you're struggling with killing enemies, go for critical chance and base damage and all that. So yeah, guys, and also start aiming now to try and get your resistances high, because you want to have them. My goal is to try and get them all up to 75%, at least. That's my goal, because as you get higher and higher, this is going to become more and more important to keep you alive. Because as a mage, if you take any hit at all, it's going to hurt. You know, even if you've got a full shield on. That's another thing I do need to work on. I've been watching videos. I don't know if it's... I mean, there was the last patch, but people had like over 1,000 ward save. I'm lucky if I have like 100. But and I seem to be doing okay. But maybe that's, you know, stuff I get higher end. Anyway, guys, that's the video for today. I'm going to go and have a look at my idols. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you tried to build, and I'll see you in the next one.